Luke Reinehr ist der CEO von Kalamazoo Resources und er hat uns erst kürzlich auf der Edelmetallmesse in München besucht und sich dort mit interessierten Anlegern und Investoren der Firma ausgetauscht. Bis zum Jahresende, da wurde es dann etwas ruhiger um die Firma. Bis dann zum Jahresanfang News auf News folgte. So hat Kalamazoo einerseits seine Lithiumprojekte erweitern können, die Goldressource im Boden des Ashburton-Projekts um 68% steigern und nun auch Pegmatite und Spanduben auf den Projekten Doms Hill und Marble Bar bestätigen können. Und diese zwei Lithiumprojekte, Marble Bar und Doms Hill, betreibt die Firma gemeinsam mit SQM in einem Joint Venture. SQM ist der zweitgrößte Lithiumproduzent der Welt. Und das alles sind sehr gute Gründe, dass wir uns noch einmal mit Luke zu einem Interview treffen und uns einen Kommentar zu den jeweiligen News einholen.
As always, it's great to be part of Axino and being able to tell our shareholders a little bit about what we're doing. We have put out 3 announcements just in the last 2 weeks, and so even though it appears that we've been very busy in the last 3 weeks, the work behind all these announcements actually takes months and months. And so, for example, talk about the Ashburton first. To get to this position of putting an updated resource estimate out for the project under JORC 2012, that's taken us really 2 years. And to get the independent company to do this review and estimate, that took 6 months. So there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes. But we're very pleased with the work that's occurred. As you might recall, we bought this project from Northern Star about 3 years ago, and we felt it was right for us to do our own mineral resource estimate so that we could put our hands on our heart to say, look, this is real. We've had someone independently look at it. So we've done that. Yes, the resource has come up. The grade has increased by about 20%, I think it is, to 2.8 grams, which is a very good grade in the Pilbara. In total, it's 1.44 million ounces, plus an exploration target of about another 275,000 ounces. Now, we couldn't quite get that into this JORC estimate because there wasn't quite enough drilling on it. But we're very, very confident that we will be able to get that into it, which would get us up to about 1.7 million ounces. But that's going to take some more drilling over the next maybe 3 to 6 months. So the grade's gone up, but more importantly, most of the ounces now are in what they call the Mount Olympus deposit. So it's, I think, about 75% now of all the ounces are in just one deposit or one open cut if we go down that pathway. And just as important for this project, Jan, is that we've managed to convert or increase the indicated resources, so that's a higher level than inferred, by about 68%. So we're feeling very comfortable and confident now that the gold is actually there. So it's been a lot of work, as I mentioned. It's taken us, a couple of years, and the report itself has taken, a couple of 6 months to prepare. So look, we're very happy with where we're at.
Luke berichtet, dass das Ashburton-Projekt erst vor 2 Jahren gekauft wurde und seitdem wurde an dem Ressourcenstatement des Projektes gearbeitet. Derzeit sind 1,44 Millionen Unzen Gold im Boden bestätigt. Luke sieht aber das Potenzial, dass diese Ressource noch auf 1,7 Millionen Unzen erhöht werden kann. Hierzu sind weitere Bohrungen notwendig, da eine Ressource nach dem australischen York-Standard gewisse Voraussetzungen erfüllen muss. Auch wollte ich aber, basierend auf einer Frage aus der Community, nochmal genauer wissen, wie denn nun die nächsten Schritte im Ashburton-Projekt aussehen. Dazu konnte uns Luke auch schon immerhin einen kleinen Ausblick geben.
You asked a question about where do we go next? Yeah. What's the development strategy? And just to put this in perspective, the next step is, as I mentioned, we've got to do some more drilling, and we'll do that over the next 12 months, get more and more into the indicated, hopefully turn that exploration target into ounces and get up to that 1.7 million ounces, do a little bit more metallurgy work. We've already done some environmental work, and so really we're doing the steps required to do a scoping study and then a feasibility study. And with a bit of luck, that we might get that completed over the next 12 months. And that would get us to the stage where the project itself will be ready, hopefully, to push the button to perhaps get into development. Whether we do that or we do it with a partner, we'll just have to see how things play out over the next 12 months.
Kalamazoo Resources hat aber nicht nur spannende Goldprojekte, sondern ist auch im Besitz zahlreicher Lithiumliegenschaften. Wie bereits angesprochen, hat die Firma erst kürzlich ein Update zu den Projekten Doms Hill und Marble Bar veröffentlicht, wozu Luke sich auch als erstes äußern wollte.
If I'll talk about Marble Bar first, that's the project we're in joint venture with SQM. They're farming in. They're spending $12 million on exploration, of which we're managing. So we're running the whole show, but SQM, which is the second largest lithium producer in the world. So we've now completed our first drilling program at Marble Bar and Doms Hill. It was about 4,000 metres of drilling, which about 2,600, I think, was at Marble Bar and about 1,400 at Doms Hill. We've got some good intersections there. We've got to do a lot more work. It was more of a reconnaissance first drill program there, or maiden program. But interestingly, what we've found as part of this work is that we've done a lot of field work and mapping now, not on these areas that we've just drilled, but actually next door at Marble Bar. And we've had some very significant spodumene rock chip samples going up to, I think, about 2.8%. So that's very, very positive. And that's over a strike length of more than 1.1 kilometres. So we have to go back in there and drill this now. You want to find spodumene, if you can, hard rock spodumene at surface in rock chip samples. This has really enabled us now to give us confidence to design the next drill program. So I'm actually here in Perth at the moment at a conference and with my exploration manager, and we're actually seeing SQM in the next day or two to actually map out what this drill program will look like for the next field season, which will probably start in maybe a month or two. It's very hot up there at the moment. So that's looking really positive in regard to Doms Hill und Marble Bar.
Auf den beiden Projekten, Doms Hill und Marble Bar, wurden also erste Explorationsarbeiten durchgeführt, welche die weiteren Schritte auf den Projekten beeinflussen sollen. Und dabei wurden sowohl erste kleinere Bohrungen als aber auch die Kartierung und die Bodenprobenentnahme durchgeführt. Hierbei wurden auch Spodumene entdeckt, was Luke positiv in die Zukunft der Projekte blicken lässt. Doch zudem hat die Firma noch weitere Lithiumprojekte ins Portfolio aufgenommen, über die uns Luke jetzt noch einmal mehr erzählt.
But we've also been looking on the east coast of Australia, which is where I live in Melbourne or Victoria. Hasn't been known traditionally as a lithium region. However, the geology is actually very positive there, and we've taken a lot of ground to the south of what they call the Lachlan Fold. And this area has got a lot of tin and tantalum, and a lot of pegmatites have been mapped, but no one's really focused on the east coast. So we're kind of like a first mover advantage there. So we have projects in Victoria at a place called Tallangatta, typical funny Australian name, and another one further north called Gingellic. And so there are two projects in New South Wales and Victoria, and in between them, they're about 2,000 square kilometres. So pegmatites have been mapped there. We're seeing lithium. So we're very excited about it. It is early stage, but we'll now look to design some programs to get on the ground and hopefully start drilling this year.
Auch hier wird es also nicht mehr zu lange dauern, bis Kalamazoo Resources News über die neuen Projekte herausbringen kann. Insgesamt geht es bei der Firma mit viel Energie nach vorne und wir dürfen jetzt auf die kommenden Monate gespannt sein. Wenn ihr zu der Firma nichts mehr verpassen wollt, dann abonniert den Kanal, hier gibt es alle Video-Updates und schaut regelmäßig auf axinocapital.de vorbei. Dort berichten wir über Kalamazoo Resources, die spannenden Gold- und Lithiumprojekte auch auf Deutsch. Und hier auf dem Kanal wird bald auch nochmal ein detailliertes Video erscheinen, wo wir gemeinsam mit Luke erklären, wie der Ablauf eines Explorationsprojekts aussieht. Das heißt, wie beginnt man, wie findet man ein gutes Projekt, wie geht es dann weiter, was braucht man für Schritte, wann bohrt man, welche verschiedenen Studien müssen durchgeführt werden, um das Projekt eben von der Exploration bis zur Produktion bringen kann. Wenn ihr weitere Fragen habt, lasst es uns gerne in den Kommentaren wissen. Wir freuen uns dann, wenn ihr auch beim nächsten Mal wieder einschaltet.